Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. So today I wanted to do a little bit of a different video. Usually I'd show you guys some sort of tutorial inside of FL, but today I actually wanted to talk a little bit to you guys. So please just let me know if you enjoy these type of videos, and I'll do some more in the future as well. But the main thing I actually wanted to talk about today is pretty much the mindset you guys need to have as a music producer. So I have been producing for a couple of years now, and it's actually been pretty on and off all the time. But this year I seriously changed my mindset when it comes to music, and it definitely made me more motivated to make more music and also develop my skills, as well as I'm trying to learn new instruments and everything. So in this video I want to help you guys out, and I also want to cover some topics when it comes to the mindset. So your mindset is pretty much your attitude towards something. So in this case we're obviously talking about music production, but the things I'm going to talk about can seriously apply to pretty much anything in life as well. So the first thing I want to talk about is practice. And when I'm saying practice, I'm actually referring to deliberative practice. Now if you don't know what deliberative practice is, it's pretty much a more structured way to practice. So we can use different sorts of athletes as an example. If you're trying to be an NBA player or a footballer or whatever, you won't see them only play pickup or matches, games, and so on. They're doing different drills, and they're solely focused on one specific thing to improve on. This is actually something you should be doing when it comes to music production as well, because we have to remember that making music is a skill at the end of the day. And with lots of practice over time, you will obviously improve on your skills. Now, when it comes to deliberative practice on music production, you firstly want to define your goal. Now, if you're doing music production just as a hobby or for fun with your friends or whatever, then it's totally fine. It's not that serious. You can pretty much just practice however you want. But if you're actually looking to improve and make something out of your music, then you for sure need to develop your skills when it comes to your music production, when it comes to your using your DAW, if it's FL Studio, Ableton, Logic, Cubase, whatever it might be. Those are hard programs to learn, and they take a lot of time to learn. So let's say you define your goal as a music producer. You want to get a placement with, let's say, Lil Durk. Now your next step is to define the elements you need to reach that goal you have already made. So if your main goal is to get a placement with Lil Durk, then you obviously need to learn how to make hard beats, because Lil Durk ain't using no trash beats. He's using the best of the best beats. So you have to learn to make the best of the best beats. And then you want to break it down even further. So how do you make the best out of the best beats? Then you go and research all of this. You find out how you make the best out of the best beats. If you're going for a sampling route, you obviously do the same thing just with samples. Learn how to make the best out of the best samples. Pretty much be the best at what you do. So when you have this mindset of deliberative practice, you're pretty much going to practice on this specific thing to reach that goal to get a placement with Lil Durk. So there's no point in practicing networking and all of these things if your beats are trash. So every time you're making a beat, you're going to practice on how you make a better beat. So let's say your drum bounce is off. You're pretty much going to solely focus on a drum bounce every time you're making a beat. Don't overcomplicate it, but simply focus on that part of the beat every time you're making a beat. And with consistency, you're eventually going to get better at the drum bounce. So now you have locked in on a drum bounce. Maybe now you need to work on a sample, do the same thing over and over and over again. Practice, deliberative practice on the sample until you have the sample down and you have the drum bounce down. Then let's say your beats are crazy fire, you're getting all the best beats. Then your next step would be to practice on networking. How are you going to get your beats to Lil Durk? With the exact same method, just on networking instead. So I'm pretty sure you guys get my point. You need to solely focus on one element of your defined goal. And if you have this mindset every time you're making a beat, you're gonna see tremendous growth, because you're not only there to vibe or to make a quick beat, you're actually practicing to get a better beat out every time you're making a beat. So that's my main tip when it comes to improving your skills as a music producer. Now this obviously ties in with patience and consistency. So as I said, producing music is a skill, and it's not something that you're gonna learn overnight. It's complicated to produce music. So I see people giving up way too early because they think it's something that's gonna go overnight or with just about a week of work. But this seriously takes years to learn. Most of the top producers don't know everything about music production. So there's always something we can learn, and there's always something we can improve on. Obviously, if you want to develop as a music producer, you need to be consistent in your practice. So not only do you need to practice deliberately every time you're making a beat, but you actually need to do this consistently over a long period of time as well. So you're probably going to have lots of ups and downs and everything, but you need to stay patient for this as well. Because if you're not patient, you're pretty much just going to give up way earlier. Now, to give you some tips on patience and consistency, now at least what works for me, firstly, just being aware of being patient. Because if you know that you're doing this consistently over, let's say, a month or a half a year or maybe a year, just think to yourself where you're going to be in 6 months, where you're going to be in 1 year. As long as you're having a vision for where you're going to be in 6 months or half a year, like I said, it's going to be easier to stay patient because you know you're going to make it once you're there. Of course, that is as long as you do the work. So you need to stay consistent as well. There is literally so much competition, especially now in 2023. If you want to make it as a full-time music producer, if you want to get placements, if you want to produce in commercials or anything, you need to be consistent with your work, because if you won't stay consistent, somebody else will. And at the end of the day, it's a competition. So practice, consistency, and patience is literally the key to making this happen. Now, of course, I want to talk about self-accountability as well, because if you don't want to do this, nobody's going to help you out unless you're getting some support from your family, friends, or whatever. You need to push yourself to do this, because practicing and staying consistent, it's not easy. I'm the first one to tell you that, because I've been struggling with this for ages. I remember when I first started out, I was literally making music only when I was feeling motivated. So I would go weeks without making music, and then I would go a day where I made like 10 to 20 beats in one day, because I was that motivated. But you still need to do the work even if you're not really feeling like it. And even when you start doing the work, you might actually catch some inspiration as well. But as long as you stay consistent with your practice and actually push yourself each day to do better with your practice, you definitely will see your skills improve over time. And the last thing I want to say when it comes to the mindset is that you need to stay focused on your work. It's so easy to get distracted by all these ideas and everything we have. But if your goal is to make better beats, so if your mission is to learn to play the keys or learn to play the guitar, it won't really help you that much using VSTs or plugins and so on. You need to stay focused on learning the guitar. Even if it's hard, you need to stay patient. So they all go hand in hand, as you can see. But if you stay focused on your work as well over a long period of time, you will see improvement in your skills over time. So make sure you practice, stay consistent and patient with your practice. When you're practicing, I want you to be focused and make sure you account for yourself and push yourself to do this. That's pretty much my message for today. I just lastly want to thank you guys so much for the recent support. It's literally been amazing to make these videos for you guys, and I have fun every single time making them. So if you guys have any video ideas or suggestions you want me to do, just make sure you drop them down below in the comments. Besides that, I thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.